Yo, OCG, you need to calm down. So we have the official October 2020 limited regulations for the OCG. Now, why is this important? We do kind of look at the OCG's format. There are some slight differences, don't get me wrong, but we progressively look at these formats to see differences in developments and things that are different between the two of us. And well, they're wild out here. So they actually did this through YouTube this time. So the OCG actually shot this really hard. They outright banned Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. Now, we've kind of talked about the TCG possibly wanting to do this. People are starting to kind of see that this card is really unfair in terms of development and what it does for the metagame. And overall, it's a very bad experience for everybody. But splashable cards, techable cards, Verte Anaconda, go burn, bring it out, does not bode well for metagame progression. And as you see here, they also banned Utopic Zexal, which checks the Numeron engine. Now, you're probably like, well, the TCG will probably eventually do this. We could see this. We saw that they left the Numeron engine intact in the TCG. Red Eye's Dark Dragoon finally just made its way here. So in terms of power creep and development here, things are going about where you would expect them to be. But this answers the question of, well, if the TCG is not going to ban Link Cross, I'm going to go after the next targets. Does that, what do we do to check Zexal in a way here? So remember, Red Eye's Dark Dragoon ended up going to 1, and then they eventually ended up banning it now. So even at 1, the card was too broken. Now this is hilarious. So the OCG just put Mekgrisu to 1. Now remember, the OCG has Harpor at a number greater than 0, which is great. All right, the OCG, they love messing around with their Orcus-related stuff. I get it. Also doubles down as a Magnite. Kind of surprised by this, but general dumping and things like that, no good. All right, now, this one is hilarious. So, for those of you that don't know, 1-for-1 bumped off of the being limited to 1 list in the OCG a little while ago. Everybody in the TCG was like, well, 1-for-1 can start, moving to 2 here. The OCG went, nope, we're going to push that card back to 1 at this point. So the card did get the chance to live at higher numbers, but much like everybody would suspect, the ability to summon a level 1 monster from the deck at any time, especially when you have Spiral at borderline, like, full power in the OCG. Granted, this isn't the thing that's abusing it there, but, I mean, it's just a good example of this. Like, the applications of 1-for-1 from the TCG to the OCG, those slightly variable card pools make really all the big difference in this. Especially with the OCG's got to put Mekgrisu to 1 to fix the Workus problem because they don't want to ban Harpor. And I understand that, all right? In terms of progressiveness and things, it's funny. But I do find the fact that 1-for-1 going back onto the limited list is absolutely hilarious. Between the death of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon and 1-for-1, it's like, all right, we've learned our lesson about questionable decisions as of late. So we're going to take care of Dragoon. We're going to take care of Zexal. Oh, and 1-for-1, I see what you're doing over there. We're going to progressively push that on back here and be like, hey, problem solved. All right. Oh, this is interesting. So, Memories of Hope. By the way, this card lets you draw 4 cards, by the way. That's absurd in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it looks like everything Numeron related in the OCG has been bothering the OCG as of late. And they didn't like that. So, I get it. Alright. Card says draw 4 cards for the activation of a field spell. Putting Zexal on the field was kind of icing on the cake at the end of the day. The TCG doesn't like draw 4, all right? It's bad, all right, according to us. So there's no point in trying to abuse this, all right? OCG's like, all right, we're going to progressively chuck this on up over here into the 2 pile. You guys can go from there. Now, Nadir's Servant, they're actually taking a hit at Dogmatica here. Now, if you've looked through OCG list on this channel, you've seen a lot of Dogmatica variants. Now remember, the OCG loves Maximus. They be putting Maximus in all of their variants. But they're finally making an effort to kind of slow down the deck. I think that Dogmatica is definitely a lot more of an issue over there than it is here. You know, we had an Emancipated running around here. They didn't really have that. So, interesting choice to go after this. And then I see the big one here, all right? Called by the Grave. Now, like I said, I do want to talk about this more in another video, but, looks like Called by the Grave has been an issue in the OCG too. They're taking a very slow approach here. We're restricting it to 2 at this point, which basically means, hey, we're going to start cleaning this up. Honestly, the card, you activate this against Max C, it's negated, all right? Against Ash Blossom, it's negated. Hand tracks, especially like in the OCG, like when you have a Max C across the table from you in terms of competitive play, this is one of those hits. It's like Konami wants hand traps to stop your play. That's why you're playing them. Konami doesn't think it's fair that you should be playing hand traps and then, you know, they get to stop your hand trap. All right, so what's the point of that interactivity? You're playing the counter to the counter at this point. So I think that the OCG will probably eventually follow suit on this to match up with us because we're currently pushing it to 1 here. But we'll have to wait and see. I do think that Called by the Grave was a very interestingly designed card. It was balanced for its time. But the longer we've been pushing it here, you know, Konami's trying to print all these hand traps to help, you know, stop the game. Things like Gamma, Imperm, Nibiru, like, play around Called by the Grave. But at this point in time, like, I don't know, the card's a little bit imbalanced, even though it's balanced. Does that make sense? Unlimits. Whew. All right. OCG brought back White Dragon, Wyvern Buster. Now, remember, the OCG does have a ban on Mr. LP. We don't get to fully enjoy the ban that they've got, but we're basically going ahead and cleaning up that mess on their end. So, hey, more White Dragons. All right, more love to Dragon Link over there, even though they don't have, you know, full version because LP's taken care of. Makiar the Destructor, hey, they put it to 1. What last list? There was really no point in even having the card locked up because of its errata, all right? So, I feel like the OCG was like, well, you know, card's a little bit imbalanced. We'll push it to 1 with the errata, and then later on people are like, oh, it's not that imbalanced at all. Just let it come back. So, that's good. I see the OCG's finally brought Necroface back to full power. All right, loops. The OCG was a little, or the TCG was a little bit afraid of this when we were messing around with it, seeing it pushing up numbers on our list. We're like, that's not good. It looks like it got the full approval to come on back. So, that's fine. Red Eye's Fusion moving to 3 makes 100% perfect sense here. There's no reason to keep this card locked up when Red Eye's Dragoon is getting banned, alright? Like, why? So, pushing it back to 3, 100% fine. And then we're pushing Personal Spoofing on back here to 3. Alright, so the OCG gets to enjoy more love for Ulticus. Can you believe they had this card pushed to a number not at 3? Alright, it's crazy. The OCG, these mad lads, they did it. They banned Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, though. Overall, in terms of this list, I'm not surprised by a few things. Some things I'm like, Dragoon and Utopia makes sense. Alright, TCG should probably do this at some point. Just came out, I get it. Give it some time. Matt Grisu, that's your own problem. Alright, you left Orcust alone. 1 for 1. As much as I want to see this card at a number greater than 1, I don't think it can happen. Alright. Memories of Hope. This card is bonkers. I'm glad the OCG finally found a way to break it. Nadir Servant. I feel like this is an impending doom clock at some point. Called by the Grave. It's interesting. I will say that. And then all of this is perfectly fine, honestly. So what do you guys think about the OCG banning Red Eye's Dark Dragoon of all frickin' things? I'm happy for them. I really am. Guys, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And well, guys, I'm out. Peace.
Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well,
I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCall40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCall40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcallgames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.